took interesting concepts, and then they just like totally fell flat in like meta. But it wasn't like they just like sloppily like did the rework and it was, you know, also garbage. So kind of cool that they're like some use.
That's a good point. I think, and I think it more and more as they release stuff, and I think that they've got their own stuff that they work on 6 months ahead of time, and then they release, you know, kits and new characters now, but in their heads, they're thinking of how they're going to react to the characters they've got planned 6 months ahead of now.
That's what I think they did too. Because I don't know if you saw that tweet that EA tweeted, but a while back they sent a tweet that had Ebon Hawk. It's like the pilot of the Ebon Hawk, Karth Onasi, and I'll put it in the Discord link here in a second. I have it.
Really?
Yeah, they did, and they didn't say they were releasing the Ebon Hawk, but they had an animation of it in the background. And I just came through a fresh play of KOTOR, and that animation's not in there, so they made that one. So I think that's going to be, you know, in the event or whatever.
Did you see any other KOTOR ships?
No, not in that one. It's just a hangar.
Okay.
Here's that, if you want to see that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, getting a third perspective on this. What are you getting KOTOR fatigue?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Yeah, you cut out.
Are you getting? Are you getting KOTOR fatigue?
Well, so I never actually played KOTOR, so I don't have a personal attachment to these characters. So for me, I think I would be a good litmus test of somebody that doesn't care about any of these. Like, I would be the one to get fatigued first.
Oh, that's okay. And
I like the new stream of characters. It does inspire me to go play the games and figure them out. I do wish they were releasing other stuff in the meantime.
I agree.
I think they should have spaced it out a little bit, or maybe everyone's too hyped up trying to prepare for Darth Revan, that they're ignoring all the stuff that comes in the middle.
I think it's a mix too. Like, if the Revan meta wasn't so dominant and wasn't so just annoying to play against, people wouldn't be hating it so much. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these characters are all unfun to play against. And the only other thing that's came out in recent memory that's like a big deal is General Grievous, and that like fell flat too for most of how people feel. So I think people are just kind of pissed off right now in general.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I wouldn't say I have fatigue as in I don't want more, but I do have fatigue in that as soon as Revan was released, I was annoyed by him and thought he was dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played the games, so I don't know the characters, but I doubt that his kit accurately reflects his character in the game.
It does not.
They just smashed a bunch of OP stuff into one person.
Completely agree with that. Like, because I'm in the same boat as you. I never played the games, and then when the kit got released, it was like we were talking about it. Like, me and Casey were talking about it, and it was like, oh, okay, so they took care of Nest, they took care of Treya.
I know.
Yeah, yep. It was like that was like a really bad design. Probably one of the worst like designed characters in my opinion, just because it's like it's not inspired. Like an example of the best kind of design choices is General Grievous. Like, I think that's the kind of stuff that, you know, like, it seems thematic. Like, they have good animations that fit their characters. They have like interesting, you know, synergy. It just, you know, wasn't that strong. I think a lot of these characters, like C-3PO is a good example. It's just Revan is so good that all these interesting ideas just get pushed to the wayside because Revan will just dumpster them all. So it's kind of impacting creativity unless you just make everything busted. So
yep, I strongly agree.
Yeah, and then which goes to the point of like why everyone's so like tired of KOTOR, because I think people really enjoy that. Like, if for example like Joe Lee wasn't so annoying to play against, like constantly getting him to like red health and then he comes back and like you're timing out. Like, if it was like because Sith meta was like, you could argue was even more frustrating, but because he was a coin flip, you would probably lose more matches, whereas you're losing in a worse way. Like, the game would be over and then you'd be like, oh, okay, I just got unlucky with my stuns, whereas in these Jedi matches, you're stuck there for 5 minutes when you lose, and you just got to sit there and suffer. And so I think that's also leading to
crit immunity for me. Like I wouldn't mind it so much if I could at least.
I know.
It would burn through it. I mean, Yoda can hit for what, 60k more on a tanky person.
I'm just saying that crit immunity. See, like the trick, that crit immunity actually comes up clutch kind of because it makes it to where General Kenobi doesn't taunt, and then you clear it, and then you by the time you clear it with Bastila, then you just blow him up. So you use the crit immunity, and it works out.
All right, fair enough.
They're So the whole Revan team, the one that's meta, I should not be able to take my Revan versus another Revan, hit auto at the start, and have it time out with both teams still having 5 versus 5.
Yep, I actually lost a timeout where I was playing manually today, and I had superior mods in every way on every character, and I just purely lost. You would think that would never happen, but it just happened to happen in the way where everyone kept resing, I couldn't get through, and then I would get crit by accident and get stuck behind. Maybe I misplayed it, but even if you misplay a move or two, you shouldn't have a full 5-minute battle going when you have every Zeta, full Gear 12, every Gear 12 piece. These people should be dying.
I feel like the matchup is very dependent on a few things going your way, and the timing really matters. And if you don't hit that timing, you're spending another minute or two getting back to that timing. And so if you miss your window, then you time out. And so like it is very frustrating, and I see why a lot of people like don't like the matchup. It really sucks. Also, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think's more important? High offense on Yoda or a faster Revan?
Define high offense, because if you're asking would I rather have 150 speed or 7,500 offense, I have an answer. But
okay, well, I'm thinking like 6,500 to 7K, or 6,000 to 7,000 is, in my opinion, a high offense. But you get like no speed on the Yoda. That's the trade-off. Okay,
no speed on Yoda, but high offense versus what's my other choice?
The faster Revan. You have the faster mods on Revan.
I'll take faster Revan, honestly.
I would take the stronger Yoda.
Okay.
Now, are we saying offense or offense or defense?
On defense, I think I would take the faster Revan, but on offense, I would take the Yoda. But I feel like there's something to be discussed on both situations.
Yeah.
The reason, so I'll defend my actions. The reason I say I want the faster Revan is because, first of all, I like marking first, and I know a lot of people mark Yoda, but I actually like marking Revan most of the time, because then he doesn't get the mark next and doesn't drain the cooldown. Because if I mark him and or let's say I mark Yoda, right? Kill Yoda, that's great proc savior, but then he marks someone very critical and takes a main cooldown like General Kenobi or something where I can't do my full dash in, or even Bastila where I can't remove Retribution on Jolie or something. For me, it's like game over. So I prefer the mark Revan. And as far as Yoda goes, like 6K offense, I don't think so that much. I think if it was like 7,500 with no speed, then I would take it. But if it's like 6 to 7K, like I have 6,500 with 100 speed.
I'm just like 7,500 is nuts. Like I have
insane. Like 200 offense on everybody or on every mod.
Yeah, like I don't think because like. For that matchup, like I feel like getting that first mark, like almost not a single cooldown I care about happens in the first rotation. If so it's like you could just call Yoda even if worst case scenario, like Yoda gets hit. I mean, Basila's gonna cleanse her, Revan's gonna cleanse him. So like I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to play that matchup. And so it's just kind of splitting hairs, I guess. But it is kind of fun to discuss it because so many people are so frustrated by it, and everyone has to play it 5 to 6 times a day. So really, I think it's important. So
for me, my Revan is usually slower because I don't have the best mods, and I refuse to just take my 6 fastest and throw it on Revan. So as long as the enemy Revan doesn't mark my Revan when I'm on offense, I normally can handle it pretty well. And
that's when things go downhill for me too, is he marks my Revan.
Yeah, and like Micro said, don't like to mark Yoda Because if I mark Yoda, he then gets called by Bastila, Jolie, and Revan, so that before I even get to kill him, he's lost the mark.
Yep.
It's just such a different, like, that matchup plays out so differently for me than it does for you guys. It's just like
And I think I know the reason why to that, though, is because you have drastically better mods than the majority of people on your server. I am behind on most people.
Okay, so yes, I do got mods, but for the sake of YouTube, I've played many games where I just remove mods. I'll just remove mods off Revan. And so in that situation, like, I'll just take my triangle off and find a way to be slower. And then usually, like, I don't really care. Like, the thing that drove me nuts about that matchup is when I didn't have high offense on Yoda. When I put like 100 speed on Yoda and had like 5,500 offense, that's when Jolie would like barely get touched. Because even now with 7K offense, if he has Retribution, I'm still not doing much damage. It's like the key moment of that matchup for me is Bastila cleansing his Retribution or crit immunity, and then he's just dead. That's how I see the matchup. But I mark Yoda and kill Yoda 3 times. That's what I do, and then I kill Jolie.
So I got a kind of change in topic question for you. How's your guys' farm coming along in Karth and Juhani? You farming them?
I have been hardcore farming them, doing 2 refreshes so that I get a full 24 attempts a day.
Same.
I am about 150, 140 shards away from each.
Oh, really? Did you start with... Okay, so I started... I purchased the $10 pack on Karth and Juhani back when they came out. So I started with 4 stars. I've been doing 40 attempts of Juhani, which is all the hundreds. And then I've been doing the 25-50 on Karth. So I get 24 attempts at Karth. And I bought... I think it was at this point, I think I bought 40 or 50 shards out of the shipments for Karth and probably like 40 or 50 of Juhani. So I purchased a lot, but I'm at 62 out of 100 on Juhani, and Karth is 48 out of 100, which I'm almost kind of bummed about because now with this whole Shadow deal, what am I going to farm?
The 1%er, you're like, oh, I'm almost done with Karth.
But I lose so many crystals on it that I would not have if I'd known.
This sucks, bro.
Oh man, I only got 50 shards to go.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat. I got 29 to go, so I feel you. So
you're the 29%.
We saved them crystals, dog. We got them. So we bought them out of shipments.
Yeah.
So I think
I wait until he's announced, and I know.
I should have
do the calculation, and I need to buy this many shipments to get it by this date. Until I have to buy shipments, I don't buy any.
When you think the date is? When you think he's coming?
I'm going to say... I think somebody speculated the 21st. So that's when I think the event's going to start. Or when was the break in the calendar?
It is the 21st, because the Thrawn runs 14th to the 20th.
Yeah. It's probably going to be the 21st.
That's what I think.
21st to 28th.
I was really convinced that it was going to be way sooner. I thought they were going to pull the same thing with Revan, and they were going to do something even sooner, because Revan was 14 days after Bastila and Jolie, then there was the 3, and then 22 days after that was when Revan came out. But in this situation, we're almost on day 14 of when they became Karth and Juhani became formable, and I figured since they only gave us 2 characters, they were going to just make it a 2-week thing instead of a 22-day. But then they hit us with the Ebon Hawk, so I'm like, the 21st makes a lot of sense now. You got the hole in the calendar, you get Ebon Hawk to bait people and drop all their crystals, and then you hit people with Revan.
Smoke screen.
Yeah, it's just, but I say that, but I've said the last 3 events are a smoke screen. I was like, Millennium Falcon, smoke screen, smoke screen, and so it's I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, totally called it, bro. Totally called it. So
I think we're all, the whole community, because Jedi Revan was such a big deal, and it dominates the game in every mode, that everyone is just eager for Darth Revan, when the developers have it structured to where we're supposed to be focusing on other things in the meantime. So I think we're anticipating smoke screens when they don't want it to come immediately after. They want to give some breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you give us enough breathing room this event, I feel like, for sure.
I think I think everyone in the game is ready for Darth Revan, but no one in the game wants him. It's like everyone's like, they're like ready, and so it's like, you mean, well, I guess I'll farm him because like I'm probably gonna be able to like solo some part of the Sith raid, but I would rather him just not exist, but he's going to, so I gotta, it's like we're in that weird spot.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You know what I want from Darth Revan? I want him to be a perfect counter to Jedi Revan, where I can hit auto and he just destroys Jedi Revan, but he loses to everybody else.
Do you want him to auto win mirror matches?
I don't care about mirror matches. I just want somebody that sucks normally, but destroys Revan so that Revan stops being meta and he can be put in his place and smashed down into the dirt.
I would love that.
He shouldn't exist. He needs to be removed. Jedi Revan is just too broken.
Power creep, man. He's insane power creep to the point of like no one else even has a chance.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's gonna kill creativity and stuff like that. It's gonna kill like game design. He's just too good.
Exactly. I got worried whenever Chewbacca came out, because Chewbacca with every single hit from his just does 20% of enemy health.
True damage, which is nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, out of turn.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I got him. Okay,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I got him recently, and then I'm like, oh, he hits really hard.
Yeah, he hurts.
yeah, and like, but it's like at the same time, I'm like noticing that, and this is like post Revan. So beforehand, I'd be like, Jesus, this guy's insane.
I know.
No.
Not only does he take out 20% health, but with his guard loyalty thing, with Han Solo and whoever else gets it, he's assisting them. So that's why out of nowhere, Commander Luke or any kind of resistance lead, they shot back up into relativity, being relevant, just because having Chewbacca assist, you can take out anybody.
Now, I don't know if I would agree that he's power creep, though. I think that he's good and extremely strong, but I think he's okay, just because the Rebels needed him, is how I see it. Like, they're at the point where CLS was power creep, and then now he's kind of like, and they needed something.
Well, I agree a little bit.
Well, like, the way I look at it is, like, let's say Revan didn't exist, the meta would actually still be diverse. It would be Trey and CLS. Like,
yes.
It wouldn't be just like CLS dominating. I think people would prefer CLS because the battles would be a minute long, but on offense. But you mean like I think, yeah, the fun. They're new. You mean like you work hard to get all the characters. So it's like like every legendary / raid character. So it's kind of like a cool team, and it's like that's like a fair diverse. Like you get the free to play ish route through like farming big squads, and then you get the raid reward team. Like that makes sense instead of like this big paywall character that beats both of those teams. So right there.
I think before Traya, we had a good balance, probably the best rotation of teams in the meta the game's ever had.
Palpatine,
I don't remember what
Rex,
Palpatine. Yeah, I don't remember how many there were, but there were at least 3 or 4.
Night Sisters.
Palpatine, they did pretty well.
I think we had good diversity, but I'm gonna do a hot take really quick. I would say Palpatine meta is like worse than Revan meta, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my hot take. It was an annoying coin flip.
At least Revan, you win.
That's true. That's true.
There were so many times like I'd be texting Casey. I'm like, oh my god, he hit 4 stuns, and then Nihilus. Like my Vader goes first, and then Nihilus hits 5. Cooldown reductions, and then Palpatine comes, and then it would happen where you literally just couldn't win. You just like sit there, and then you're trying to back out of the game, and you can't because Palpatine's like on the team, and so it's like I feel like people like yes Revan is annoying, and especially for people having to deal with Revan if they didn't get him the first go around, like I get that, but now that everyone has Revan, like this, at least this matchup, you go into it, and if you really dial it in, you know you're gonna win. And so there's no like RNG. Well, there is some,
point.
but not. Yeah. So that's my how I look at it.
Yeah, fair point.
But also for free to play players, that meta you talked about was amazing. Like you can have Rex, you can have Night Sisters, you can go Palpatine. Like so, it was objectively a better meta. It's just playing the games. I didn't like the Palpatine v Palpatine matchup.
The other problem I have with Revan is it removes all of these heroes' journey events priority and importance. Then my opinion's like a passing of rights type heritage thing. It's like, oh, you got CLS, now you got JTR, now you got the next one. But Revan, it's just farm these 5 characters. You now have the best team. And there's nothing else. It's just pick these 5 and you have it. It's like a legendary.
Any game mode, as long as you got Revan, you could be a brand new 6-month-old account.
Solo Rancor, solo the tank, 16 or mil or more in heroic Sith. Yeah, too good for one team.
Looking back in like the eyes of if I was like a new player, it would be like, what do you do? Farm Phoenix, get Thrawn, get Palpatine, get Revan. It's pretty boring. And then there's no reason. It used to get all this diversity, and you could really see the in someone choosing what they farmed. Whereas now it's like, oh, you didn't farm Revan, or you did farm Revan. Like, okay, we figured out how good you are in that one choice.
You can look at someone's roster now and in 20 seconds tell if they pick the right things, which is before you kind of had a choice.
What I want to see with meta shifts is just have 3 or 4 teams that are pretty good, that counter each other okay. Have a new meta come out that maybe does 50% of players shift to it, and it can't win on auto because that's ridiculous, but it can be very difficult to beat with most of the other teams that were already there. So it edges out 1 or 2 of the other main meta teams. It shouldn't completely wreck anything that was there before.
I like rock, paper, scissors. I like the trio style.
That's okay. But have the new meta be a little bit stronger than the other 2. Like, have the rock be better than the scissors on paper. But with Revan, Traya overnight became useless.
Yeah.
Especially before we had Fallen Bastilla. Useless.
And they set a precedent development-wise that I'm not really a fan of, which is we're going to hard code targeting of this character. Which I don't think that's not a good precedent. For me, that's just like a flat-out, you bought this character, he's worth a lot of money to us, so he gets like this added non-game related bonus. It's just a coding thing. And for me, I really don't.
That was it. It's probably one of the worst PvP decisions they've made. It's like it ended up benefiting us when they made Darkseid Bastila, but that's just horrible design.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Or it should be in the kit. It should be in the kit. It should say always targets Traya if possible, or something. Everything you need to know about the character should be in the kit.
Thematically, maybe, I don't know. I didn't play KOTOR, but they're at least in the same universe. You could maybe do something like that, but then that sets the precedent that does Darth Revan always deathmark Revan? So it's just okay. I paid for Darth Revan now, so I win my mirror. It's like it's a very slippery slope. But I guess what I wanted to say was, without Revan, they were actually doing a really good job. Like all the releases, I think were actually really cool.
Yeah, totally agree.
Traya was really cool because it's in like a really hard raid.
They were killing it.
Yeah, and they kept killing it with the Chewie event is like a perfect event.
Free to play friendly.
Yeah, it's like those kind of things. It's like they're like they encourage diversity of your roster, and then they get you this legendary character. So then now you're like, and then like especially bounty hunters where they encourage you to go into ships. You get Chewie, you get you get Millennium Falcon. Like that's awesome.
They weren't useless characters. They actually had use outside of just that event.
And they weren't meta like arena characters, so you would like farm them as a separate thing, and then you get rewarded in arena. You get reward. It fills out the whole game. It shouldn't be this, like 5 characters. Boom, you got them at this time, and then now you're good. So
the problem they could run into with Darth Revan is if they do not. Here's why I think they should require Jedi Knight Revan. All right, is if they do not require Jedi Knight Revan, all they're doing is moving the goalpost and saying, okay, the newer players, I'm more worried about newer players, because if you don't worry about the newer players, games eventually die, right? So it's, if you make Darth Revan and you have him be just a better Revan, like why would you farm Revan if you can just farm 5 characters and get Darth Revan? then it's the same thing all over again, and everyone's just gonna have Darth Revan. People won't even farm Revan, so you need to require Jedi Knight Revan. So it's the 5 you have to farm, get Jedi Knight Revan, plus the 4 more 9 characters. Then you get them. That way, at least it's a 1A, a 1B, a journey, as they say. So I really hope it's not HK as the 5th, as everyone's like speculating. Because if it is HK, then it's like the easiest farm ever for free to play. Now you have the very best team right off the bat. You don't need any heroes journeys. You don't need any legendaries. Just pick these 5 and you're done.
It accelerates the progress like a lot. If that's the case, I hope he's just garbage in the raids. He's like purely a PvP character. Just because then you just get way too much value, like way too much.
True. Palpatine was like only good in PvP.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That Traya, like those that whole meta, and that's why I really like that meta, because it was like you can get by with Night Sisters, so you could get like a whole bunch of bang for your buck with like Night Sisters does well in the raid, does well in arena, so it's like I agree. It's just
yeah. And I think that touches on last time I tuned in and messaged you guys about like what the game was like as a newer player. I wish that newer players still had to struggle to beat the Rancor and like get this first legendary and actually have that part of the game, that part of the accomplishment of I beat the Rancor for the first time.
I agree.
And then have a gradual shift. Okay, I was just able to get this new legendary. I can't get Revan because that's in-game content. That's out of my reach until I've hit these other milestones. And then you can still have the progression condensed, not like 3 years as some of the other players have had to do, but at least, like 4 to 6 months before you can beat the Rancor, 4 to 6 months maybe before you can beat HAAT solo.
I'm still new enough to remember doing Rancor solo for the first time. It was when I got CLS.
I think that was about my time frame. It took 4 to 6 months to get.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I had to farm, Phoenix, and then I had to farm them, and because when I first started, I remember the week I started, Luke was out, like Luke in R2, so I had to wait for that whole cycle, and then I got him that time. Which took that, but I went. A lot of people had to build teams where it was like, oh yeah, I mean like this is like dope damage in phase 1 Rancor. You mean like that's is something I'll never experience. Like I went from just tagging along doing 10k damage in Rancor to soloing Rancor. Like I there was no in between.
Instantly. Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer with raid simming though, right? I mean, you get newer players coming in. The best advice you can ever give anyone who's just starting a game is just getting the best guild that will carry you, basically. And you get into a guild, and they just sim the raid. They never even get the chance of, like, knowing what it's like to deal with damage in there and placing in the lower tiers and all that. I think that the new leveling system kind of eases that. I think that's why they put in the new leveling system with the new the guilds. I don't know if you guys have made an alt recently, but you go into like the training guilds that do the lower tier rancors, and it's all automatic, and there's no leaders and everything, right? And so
quests help you get experience so you can level up quicker.
Yep, and then there and the new like beginners guilds or whatever they call them at lower level. So that way they kind of do get to do the rancor at least, but I don't know if I fully agree with raid simming, but it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess.
Well, to play devil's advocate here, maybe they need to start moving that content up for people because they're thinking about adding more. They're thinking about, like, imagine Gear 13 comes out, and now look how daunting this game is for a new player.
Very true.
Like,
yeah.
Level 9.
Yeah, true.
Stuff like that. Also, I do really like them adding in-game accessibility to raids. Like, that's, like... people having to go through Discord, it's like almost expected. Like you're finding a guild, and the Discords are shown. It's like nothing like guides people. You know what I mean? So if I didn't have someone like that already was playing and was like kind of figured it out on his own, like it would take so long to get into the game without it all kind of like path out like it is now.
I think that's kind of beginning. The first thing I farmed was Magna Guard and then Ewoks. Ended up paying out a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, in the beginning I didn't know what I was doing.
I got from a Bronzium, like one of my first couple days playing, a 4-star Tusken.
Yeah, I'm farming him right now. I'm farming the Tuskens because I don't know, I like him.
He had a 60% chance to stun on his basic, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. I mean, like,
I remember when you started, Eric. They were still doing the full character of your first Chromium, right? So you pulled it. You got what A-list Sakura, and you're like, "Is that good?" And I'm like, "I think so."
yeah. Hey, y'all, I was planning for the Jedi meta way back in the day, dude. But yeah, I remember getting excited. I was like really hoping because wait, do they not do that anymore? You don't get your guaranteed character.
No, you just get shards on the first one. May and all recently found that out.
That's whack. That's super whack.
Yeah.
Because he got like didn't you roll like 7 accounts and got bays on one?
Yeah,
like,
I wrote 7, or it was like 7 or 8 or something, and I got bays on one. And nice. I had hoarded like a ton of energy, like 16,000 or and I was ready to like go in, but I had messed up and I had hoarded all this energy, but I never realized that when I hit the daily activity on one of the days, I hit ding to 28, and so I was in the lower. I was like in the shard already, and it didn't matter, and I had screwed the pooch.
Damn, feels bad, man. Yeah. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I want to go back to talking about the new ship. Like yes. I think that's like that stuff. So like, what do you guys think of the kit? We didn't even talk about the kit.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you guys?
We got sidetracked.
Yeah, hardcore sidetracked. Okay, so Sir Georgeous, what is your opinion? First impressions of the kit.
First impressions, great ship. It is signifying a ship power creep. I think it is designed to be a houndstooth killer. It's going to also be a Sith killer, even though we don't have a Sith meta. So they're preemptively destroying any kind of Sith meta.
That's what I was wondering. It's like, hey guys, you're obviously going to do something with Sith ships. Why do you give us it first?
I thought it was hilarious. They were like, I was like, oh, okay, we'll get the utility to beat Sith before the Sith drop. Like, what are they planning on doing? Like, dropping like a disgusting Sith character? Like, I don't know. What are they give us?
No, they're not. They're not. Yeah. They did this a couple years ago. They came out with Death Trooper and Director Krennic, but I think it was right before and right after they just unleashed all this anti-Empire stuff. Like with the territory battles, they released Leia
and the Captain
Han Solo. Yeah, all these anti-Empire, and people are wondering, are we going to get some new Empire stuff that's going to dominate? And no, they just
don't buy our product.
They just wanted to smash a non-existing meta even worse.
They're debating us. They'll be like, "Oh no, trust it. It's diverse. It counters a lot of ships." But really, we're just trying to screw over Houndstooth and Millennium Falcon. So I don't know. It's kind of, but like I think this ship is good for both. It's good, like amazing for people that are like are farming Karth and don't have Millennium Falcon. And I think that's a really cool thing that they're doing. It's like a Darkseid Bastila almost. Like it kind of came out around the same time, helps out the matchup. That's if you don't have Cassian, I feel like that matchup's super hard as it is now, and now you get another option that's not like garbage characters to beat Millennium Falcon.
Very good point. I think this ship makes Cassian's ship irrelevant now.
Yeah, right in the it's me right here. Cassian, no, I slightly disagree.
I'm waiting for it. I was waiting for the Cassian lover to speak up.
Oh no! I have a strong opponent of Cassian.
He's triggered. He's been farming this guy for like the last 2 weeks.
I got them all. Like I got them all, but Jin 7-star. So it's like I've been going ham. But Cassian ship's amazing.
Tell me why.
Okay, because you instantly win the game when you stop. If you have this is with Millennium Falcon, you instantly win the game when you drop them. And so like on offense, so what happens is you go Millennium Falcon, and then you bring in Phantom 2, and then you bring in Cassian, call to assist Millennium Falcon, blows up their Millennium Falcon, game over. Literally ends the game.
But you have to gear up 3 irrelevant tunes.
This is my problem.
And you've got to spend all your ship omegas on them, and they still hit like a wet noodle.
Okay, so your guild will love you because you give them the extra 30 guild of in-store currency. They are highly underrated as a very, very far back territory wars team. I'm talking very far back. And, you slip them in, and people see the thing is they will underestimate that team. Like, you have that team, you mod them well, people will see them and they'll laugh at you in Grand Arena, but they underestimated you. They fell into your trap. And then you
thought this guy was so dumb, he geared these irrelevant characters.
Exactly. And then and if there's ships in Grand Arena, they're like, wow, I can't handle his Cassian. It's too good. I already lost. And then they see the team, and so Cassian just won you, sneaks you win. And, but yes, I understand. I completely agree. Especially now, because like now I look at it, and I'm like, oh man, I was already gonna gear Karth, and so now I just go. But the Rebel synergy, also he counters a ton. I believe can MF attack off a counter? Can he?
No, it's they have to use an ability on their turn.
Oh, okay, so then no. But I was hoping with his like 70% counter attack, then they attack and then he counters, and then Millennium Falcon gets the coin flip.
Actually, wait, I think I'm wrong. Let me pull it up right here because
that's actually kind of dope. And then Cassie, so
go ahead.
I think a rebel ally has to do an ability on their turn, and then there's a 50% chance Han will assist.
Okay, let's see. The Falcon has 50% chance to assist whenever another rebel ally uses an ability during their turn. Okay, so I was right. So it has to be on their turn.
Yeah, maybe that. But yeah, that was like a small thing too.
Now, I don't disagree. The ship does make it so that you can quickly wipe out the enemy Millennium Falcon. So it's got a strong use for that. But are yours Gear 12 7-star? Your 3 characters?
Oh, absolutely not. They won't be. They'll probably stay like Gear 11, if anything.
Okay, I've got a Gear 11 Jin, Gear 10 Cassian, Gear 9 K2SO. So not the best, but most of their abilities for the ship are maxed out. I've got Zetas on Jin, and the ship still, when it hits, does like 10k, 8k damage. Can't even get through a single layer of protection on Houndstooth. Well, so for me using him, I struggle to even get enough damage to kill the enemy Millennium Falcon with that ability that can call Han to assist.
You can get unlucky, and if he calls, like if Cassian attacks and then Han calls Cassian, it's not a guaranteed kill. But if he calls Ghost or Phantom, then it's
true.
Guaranteed. Yeah, and
here's my problem. I'll put in my opinion on the whole Cassian situation. Here's how I see it. Okay, the Ebon Hawk is a replacement for Cassian. I think we all see that, right? You need him to go second. So I don't see any point if Cassian, because your first 3 people are going to be Bosk, Millennium Falcon, and then like Biggs or Ghost or whoever. You need one more Rebel with the starting lineup.
I've been liking Biggs because I've been noticing Biggs. The AI will not do the double call to assist with Biggs because it's 2 tanks. As long as your MF is faster than their Akbar, and then it makes their Akbar play horribly, and then it helps you out a lot. Even though I prefer Ghost, but Ghost gets 1-shot because the AI knows to kill off Ghost.
Also,
I think Biston's the best ship.
That would be ideal. That'd be ideal, for sure. It's just that's the Cassian argument. You got to gear up to garbage characters.
Yeah, it's way worse for Biston's ship.
Yeah, that's like.
So what do you think the combo is? It's Phantom 2 you call in, then you call in Ebon, and then you use the throw chaff on everybody, chafe. Do that move, inflict buff immunity, or what do you think the first thing you do is out of the gate? That's kind of what I'm wondering.
As long as you cleanse off Houndstooth's like debuff on any one of your guys, like that call to cleanse, and then you just can kill MF. You just use it as a way to kill MF, or like to target him, and then you go for.
If he had a call to assist, if he had a call to assist, that would have made him.
Wait, but that's when you can argue Cassian's is better. But because then the issue, what's going to happen usually by that second call in, that's when their MF has their maneuver again, And so then if you don't time it right, then he cleanses, and then MF maneuvers, and then you just wasted your cleanse.
True.
So
I think that the new Ebon Hawk will be good off the bench as the first reinforcement, because it can help you kill enemy Millennium Falcon, as well as get rid of the enemy Houndstooth. Like, I have to wait until the breach is gone before I can call Cassian in. Otherwise, enemy Houndstooth still has his taunt. But with Ebon Hawk, I can, even if I still have breach on an ally, I can still call out Ebon Hawk and then use his buff immunity, quickly get rid of the enemy Houndstooth, and then target Millennium Falcon.
good point. Good point.
So you're saying call an Ebon Hawk first, don't do Phantom 2 first.
Yeah.
And then you're blowing up Houndstooth quickly. And I think you can, especially with buff immunity. One thing I have been doing to avoid getting breach is I've been intentionally not taunting with my bigs until theirs goes for their taunt, and then you taunt after to guarantee the debuff stays. And
Smart
so
move.
that's been helping a lot. So
How hard are you going to go for farming him on this Ebon Hawk? How ham?
I'm gonna let you go first on that one.
I'll be going for 5-star, same that I did for the Emperor's Shuttle. I'm gonna if it's the same as Emperor's Command Shuttle, it's a really good value for the crystals it takes, as well as getting Karth. So like, even if I wasn't caring about the ship, I'm just farming Karth hardcore, so I'm gonna naturally get this ship 4 or 5-star at the same time.
It's like perfect timing for anyone farming.
When the end date was?
I don't think so, to be honest.
Because the last time they said it was like a week or something, but they only said it was the 8th.
They gave you the parameters for it. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I don't see anywhere in the post.
Here's my tinfoil hat theory, okay? You ready for this one? I'm going to blow your mind. Right. So, there's no end date, because the end date is the last day of the Darth Revan event. You have till the 28th, so you have 20 days to farm him, okay? And you have to get Ebon Hawk to 7 stars. It's going to go from the fleet node to the cantina, then to hard nodes. And you have all the way until the 28th, so 3 weeks. 1 week at each place. 1 week on the fleet node now, 1 week in cantina, 1 week in the hard node. That's my guess. And you need him 7-star to get Darth Revan. Well,
you're selling me on this because they didn't put it in. If they didn't put an end date, like that,
that's what's worrying. Because why wouldn't they have an end date? They had an end date last time.
They set the precedent that they immediately had the end date. It was like a 4-day event.
And we know there's a Starforge, because we've seen the Starforge scene, and the Ebon Hawk takes them to the Starforge in this part. I just played the game. Telling you.
You're
tinfoil. All right, tinfoil hat off. But that's what.
I think that was too much.
You put that back on. You put that tinfoil back on. No, like because I like that theory. I'm a fan of that theory. Right. I don't want you to be right, but if you are,
I'm gonna type that up on Discord and then take a screenshot of it, black out my own name, and be like, guys, a dev leaked me this info.
Yeah, people are freaking out. But like, okay, back to the question of like how hard you're gonna go. See, I don't know how to answer that question because there's no precedent on the return date. Yeah, and if there's no, so it's like, what should I think? Is this a hero's journey? Is this like a rebel roundup? Like, I don't know. I mean, like what? Like, I have no idea.
As like the people in my guild didn't get the same impression as me, but thinking of it from the developer standpoint, I don't think that these are coming back. Like, this is in place of a marquee.
Yes.
You're never going to see it again. So the next time you see Emperor's Command Shuttle, next time you see Ebon Hawk, it's going to be on a hard node or a fleet node. You're not going to see it come back in a chase again.
Okay.
That's how I took the impression as well, because they did word it like we're trying other events to replace the marquees when they announced
that is a good point. I took it differently. I took it as in like it's a reoccurring thing because Marvel Strike Force does something similar to that.
Do you play Marvel Strike Force?
I mean, I did for a bit, and then I realized it was garbage. But yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah, I play it, but I hate it.
Yeah, it was. It was like painful to play. Like I quit months ago, but like it was every decision. I've never seen a game like actively make decisions that like just would screw their customer base, but like not once, not twice, but like 6 times in a row. And I was like, okay, I'm doing well in Star Wars. I'm just gonna stick with Star Wars. You know?
Strike Force is if the bad guy from Ready Player One was actually able to win and put all the microtransactions and all that evil garbage into a good game.
Yeah, it was just got him. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we need to go backwards on the track, you know, and you know, we just farm things backwards, and then that's what breaks the game. Down. But yeah, and plus like the that game showed me that like mods are actually kind of a good thing. It creates like things, makes things interesting. Like I don't want to play a matchup and literally every single matchup is the same thing where it's Widow does this, and you know, it's like there's no diversity, and then now they pigeonhole like because I'll follow it here and there. They just pigeonhole like force synergy. They just make a whole bunch of Revan teams essentially.
Yep, it's dumb.
So, yeah, it's like it makes me appreciate Star Wars a lot more.
I know.
If anything,
it's a surprisingly good game.
Yes, this is by far the best mobile game I've ever played, and is up there in one of my favorite games of all time.
I agree.
And the longer it lasts, just the more that stays true for me. No game has held my attention for 3 years. Yeah.
I feel like the games get, or you know, the whole company itself kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap a lot. I feel like they do actually give a pretty free-to-play friendly game. I've played a lot of other games, like I think you've also played Command & Conquer Rivals, if I remember. And there's a lot of other games where it's like you cannot compete at all at the same level if you're free to play. Like it's not even close. You know if someone has put money into the game or not. Whereas in this game, like you can have people at rank 1 that are completely free to play, you know, and stay there.
Yep. It takes you 6 months to a year to build up a good team, but
it's a game that because like I'm a big fan of like 1,000-hour experiences. You mean like I played like Halo for a long time, played League of Legends for I mean, and so it's like when I see a game like this, you know, like I've been playing for this is like, you know, it's actually a year. This month's a year, but it gets better as the time goes on. Like there's more stuff to do. It's more interesting. Like I'm a big fan of it, and it is even though like you know Reddit seems to strongly disagree with me. At least compared to pretty much any other game that's in this structure, it like completely destroys them. I mean, like
agreed.
Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. I played like a Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Every single one of those like does not reward players like for placing well, even remotely close to what this game does. And you don't have a shard. You mean, so it's like I think we're all in agreement. It's just like I can't stress it. I wish I could just like give other people on Reddit like my experience in other games just to see not only is it better, but it's so much better. And you could just look right over to Marvel Strike Force and see it's so much better.
Yes.
So,
yes. And the game has raids, the new Grand Arena, the territory battles, like way for you to make friends in a guild to work together. Raids are what made me dig deep into the game and liking it. Because I'm a big arcade guy. Like I love when I was a kid, going to the arcade and playing Galaga for 30 minutes, trying to get the high score. And Raids was that same opportunity, like a boss you can't beat, but try to play as best you can to get as high a score compared to other people. It's a genius way to make an arcade type mobile game, but that you build up over time.
Raids are awesome because it's something that you can use your entire roster on, and they scale with time. It's like as you play the game more, all of the ones, they're not static. They continually become better and better because you can try new teams more and more as you become stronger. And the rewards themselves are insane, I feel like. Like for Heroic Sith, if you get a couple full pieces, you can get like $100 worth of crystals and equipment in one raid, which is nuts.
get into a heroic Sith ASAP. You know,
if only the Rancor and HAAT Simmable whatever scale it to be similar to the Sith rewards.
Yeah, no
like
kidding.
1st through 10 of Rancor is garbage compared to 1st through 10 of Sith raid.
It's either did I roll a full droid collar? No, I didn't. Okay, next raid.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like Rancor rewards are still better than 11 through 50 in heroic Sith, though. You know,
it can be pretty rough.
Well, you at least get guaranteed salvage of Gear 12 plus.
Yeah, that's
true.
Like 25, 20, like almost half of a Gear 12 plus piece.
Which does help. It's just like I'm such a snob now. It's like, oh, didn't get a full Gear 12 piece.
Yeah, when I roll it and it's like, oh, it sucks. No full piece again. Rank 1 blows.
It's like we go like getting like top 3 in Rancor and we're like complaining. It's like, oh, 2 raids in a row, didn't get a full piece. This is trash.
I don't even do my Rancor anymore because like.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's no chance that I
don't condone that. I don't condone that message. I don't. No.
Yeah, you gotta auto. Just set your phone down for 5 minutes.
I join, but if I'm not in the top 20, I don't even bother. Like, because I'll join. It's like, oh, I'm ranked 38 because everyone in my guild solos the thing. It's like there's no. Everyone all is a hive mind at the same time picks up their phone. Can we back up?
Can we back up really quick? The best speaking of arcade games, the best arcade game back then was that Simpsons game where like that side-scrolling Simpsons
Drive-In Crasher.
And you like go through and beat people up with the skateboard. Yeah, okay. I just want
to yeah. Top tier. I like the Ninja Turtle one. I don't know if you remember it.
Turtles in Time.
Yes, yeah, you know it.
I had it for the Super Nintendo.
Okay, yeah, I got the Super Nintendo too.
Yeah. I always like those side scroller, like you had to like beat people up in a room and then they forced the screen to move over and then you just do it again. Yeah, those are good.
What I loved when you could play next to somebody.
Yeah,
so like you can bring your brother or friend. Yeah, and you're both stuck in the same room trying to beat more people than the other person. That competitiveness is part of what makes
happened to couch co-op, man. People don't do couch co-op anymore.
That's why I'm a Nintendo guy. I stick with Nintendo's good at same couch co-op or competitive play games.
They're the one people kept with.
Yeah, that was it's weird how gaming's changed because like gaming, like when I first started it was GoldenEye, and then it was like it lived in an apartment building with all the kids. It was like 4-player split screen, and then you know like you had like 2 inches, you know, like you had like about this big a screen.
And you were gone those 2 inches.
You're good. And so you're playing Mario. It was you know, Mario Kart, you know, all that, and then but you had everyone there, and then people are just talking crap and you know trying to beat everyone on, you know, it was fun. It was dope. Like that stuff is just you know you get like what is it you know co-op games and like Halo or you know whatever. But those are dope.
Yep.
So.
I miss it.
So, yeah, it's lame. It's unfortunate that gaming is, you know, it's a lost art.
Yep. Well, that's why I love that we're able to build this whole community and discuss Star Wars together, playing this game like through Discord. Yeah, it's really cool.
I would almost argue this game's more fun to discuss than it is to play.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like. I don't know. I get more excited like thinking about a cool theory craft than
I know.
Yeah, actually, well, so, all right.
Like I've hardly played with Grievous, but just thinking about what if I could do this with Grievous, or what if in the future you get some kind of droid where this and that.
Yeah, like HK comes out and he's like actually has like a cool. Yeah, it'd be like that'd be sweet. And then like it's like watching because like pretty much when it comes to droids specifically, it's like living vicariously through like watching Arnold's videos, and you get to see he gets to try it all. You know, he gets and so it's like seeing his theory crafting, especially when he did that live stream. And it's like, oh, let me try this or let me try that, and then you at least get an idea. And I think it'd be that's the coolest part of the game is like trying to like. You know, like especially like I guess like the new team would be thinking of like a dot team with like Hearth or something like that. Like some of the
thinking about too, yeah.
Or like, and then I'm close to getting the Aurora Sing like Nest Phase 3 team, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do it just because it's 2 Zetas, but you know, like that would be cool. Like you know, like new unique experiences like that would be fun to or like some of the funnest parts of the game.
Yeah. And going back to Ebon Hawk, if we can backtrack to that, I think it's going to be a really good ship because it's going to be like right now we don't have any Old Republic, but it's a good ship all on its own, so you can plug and play. I think any kind of fleet you try to get going to counter Millennium Falcon, Ebon Hawk's going to be your best bet. And then you can still put Cassian with a Millennium Falcon as a reinforcement.
I feel like I think the ship is an amazing toolbox ship. You mean it's like you're always gonna want them in your. Doesn't matter. Like I can think of like what are like the metas? There's the timeout. Like if it like Millennium Falcon meta and Empire. Every single one of those comps are gonna want him as a reinforcement for an option.
That's what my favorite thing about him is that his synergy is with cargo ships, so it carries through everybody.
Yeah.
Really nice. Good move.
Also, cargo ships are some of the best in the game. Just like I mean, they're like the best class, and so it's like best class synergy.
I'm surprised to see that because I wouldn't think they would be giving something that works so well with Han's Millennium Falcon. Like right after it's obviously the best, they come out with Ebon Hawk, and it's like, oh, your cargo ships even better.
Well, I think this is actually like some of the best like design choices that they did on the next release after Legendary, because nothing's more discouraging than like, okay, here's this really cool character, you just got him, you farmed him up, and you're excited to get him, and then the next thing they release is a counter. Like that really sucks.
True.
Unless I mean like I feel like now like Darth Revan is like that's a reasonable amount of time for real counters to come, but it was like what 2-3 months ago. So it's like this is cool. This ship should make everyone happy. The pilots are for the farm that is Darth Revan, so you're already doing that, and it's a utility, really good utility if you use Millennium Falcon and if you don't use Millennium Falcon. So it's like it covers all the bases. Everyone should be happy with this ship.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's oppressive, and it means you don't have to farm Cassian's ship. So it's like it's like 3 wins. I mean, if you already have it, like I feel like that's still gonna be just. I don't feel like people are gonna notice the difference if they already had it. But I mean, now you don't have to justify farming just bad characters, like objectively bad characters, to get that very good reinforcement ability. So
and this reinforcement is better than Cassian's because it gives your whole team chafe so that you can't be target locked.
Oh, I didn't even read that part. I didn't realize that's part of the reinforcement, because doesn't he do additional damage based upon that? So like his first
he does.
Shot right
his
out
first move
going to be
can
like
be really powerful.
Yeah, he has that really good debuff. He prevents target lock, and then also like the buff immunity thing with against Bosk. Like anything that does good against Bosk is like instantly top tier.
Yep.
Doesn't that mean that we actually call him second, because you were going to want, if you can call him right after Phantom, you want as many people on the field as possible before you spread chafe, so that way you can one shot like the Falcon or something right off the bat, right?
True.
I'm looking at
but
I think if you're going for the Bosk, if you're going for the Bosk kill, you call him second, because what would happen most of the time, from my experience, because I call Cassian second, and I have to get lucky with my I have to have a lot of good RNG for me to call Cassian and then not have Millennium Falcon immediately do his untargetable thing right after. So then your whole goal is to blow up Bosk. So now might as well call in Phantom, do the extra damage, finish him off, and then have the extra ships to kill Millennium Falcon.
True.
That's all.
True.
But maybe in playtesting it'll be different, and then maybe at like maxed out versions, because like it might be different too. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, one of the reasons why I think he's going to be great as soon as you can get him on the field, whether it's in a Millennium Falcon team or a non-Millennium Falcon, he gives all, and this is part of what I like in good game design. Have the character do something for everybody, no matter who's with him, and then have him do something specific to a faction.
Yeah.
So his unique, all allies have plus 20% potency. So now your target locks are going to stick a lot more, and any kind of debuffs, like buff immunity that he tries to do, is going to stick a lot more. Let's see. All allies have 20% potency. Ebon Hawk gains 30% turn meter each time it scores a critical hit. His basic also has him go twice. And each time he gives a random buffed ally 15% turn meter. So in the scenario you were just talking about, where you struggle with getting enough damage out, if you call Ebon Hawk first, you can use his basic. Han is always going to be buffed. So his basic is likely going to give Han 15% turn meter, maybe 30%.
Yep.
So then Han can wreak havoc.
Yeah, and then like he could end up just completely, like you call him first, and then you just smoke their MF, and then you end the game right there. So it's gonna be cool to see. I think it's gonna depend on like, and also this is good for people that are undergeared. Because it's like having that little cheese way of killing MF is nice too. So it helps out like everyone. But depending on how the speeds line up, I think that he could just straight up come out and kill someone, or kill MF right off the rip. So I think that's pretty dope. It's gonna help.
Base speed
gonna make bleed really good.
I wonder what his base speed's gonna be. It's showing as 139 for me right now, but not. I wonder if they have the stats on that yet.
Who got the T3 geared?
I got mine gear 9, but that's not exactly geared, I guess.
Oh, it's on swgoh.gg. Base speed of 175.
Ooh, how does that compare against like the Falcon? It seems kind of.
Falcon's 188.
Ooh, okay.
I've heard his auto does like a lot of damage. It's like top.
It's supposed to.
It's
supposed to be. It's the 8th highest offense for a ship, but has one of the highest modifiers, I think is what I was reading.
Well, and but it attacks twice, so then it might be 8th highest.
Sure.
So then it'll be like top one.
It doesn't look like they have the damage for the attacks yet, so we don't know how powerful the attacks are going to be.
Well,
but with all the
soon.
But with all the turn meter gain and having a special that deals huge damage because of the number of allies with Chafe being able to increase it, and just the fact that he can go twice on his basic, he's going to hit a lot harder than Cassian's. The only problem with putting him in a Rebel team, he won't get an assist chance because he's not Rebel. And he doesn't have a move that he can call Falcon to assist like Cassian. So that is something Cassian has over the Ebon Hawk.
So I know his reinforcement's nuts. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was gonna say, like, I think he's still amazing even if he hits like a noodle. Like, even if like you mean he's still. I think it's like pretty. There's no way this character like comes out and then it's like, oh, he was worse in my testing than I expected. I think it's a pretty surefire lock that he's an amazing reinforcement. It's just like, I don't know. It's cool how universal he is. I think that's the best part.
What do you think of him as a starting ship? Is Bosk, him, and Falcon? I mean, I know his reinforcement's nuts, but what if you put him on the starting lineup and then call in Cassian or something first and just try to end the game with your first reinforcement?
Well, could you even like do something with him and then like just another attacker and you just go to like
Cad Bane?
Kill it, something like that? I don't know. I don't see it. I just think like maybe you could do some cheese trap, but I think it's like horrible on defense, and then you lose like almost no strength just doing the typical call him in, and then it's still just as good.
The only reason I'm thinking is because if he hits a ton, and we know the Falcon hits a ton too, then typically the very opener with like a fast Akbar is the first move of the game is your Akbar goes, and you shoot, call in 2 people to assist right off the bat. If it hits on both Falcon, you hit the 2 out of 3 hits on Falcon, and on the Ebon Hawk, one shot the Falcon right out the gate. Could be kind of interesting.
It depends on how hard he hits, because like I feel like it'd be hard to like if you hit the 2 out of 3 on Millennium Falcon, you're getting 3 attacks now, whereas you'd only get the 2, and you'd have to so you're not calling that assist.
Depends how hard he hits. Yeah, you're not calling assist, but he attacks twice, so you get 3 attacks either way.
Well, but like bonus crit damaged rebel versus like a
true.
cargo ship attacking twice is going to be a tough sell unless he just has insane numbers, which he very well could have them.
Here, I'll increase my sell. Is you call the first move of the game is your fast Akbar calling to assist. He calls him and he generates turn meter. 30% for himself.
True.
If he's turn meter,
like
then Falcon also.
Okay, so,
right off the bat, you got turn meter.
Yep.
You could delete the Falcon before they even go.
And with the buff immunity, the ability to do buff immunity with a starting ship,
yeah,
you wouldn't have to wait to time attacking Houndstooth right. Because
wouldn't he have a ton of tenacity though? Even with the potency.
He stacks tenacity, so if it's the first hit of the game, he's not going to have any, right?
No, he gets plus 50 when he's not taunting.
Oh, really? So how it works?
So once he starts taunting, he's just got normal tenacity. We will have to see how it works, but the fact that Ebon Hawk gives all allies 20% potency, that might offset.
That's true.
That might offset it enough that you can reliably get buff immunity.
So he might actually be pretty good on the starter.
Yeah, if that's the case, if you could reliably like apply that to him and then just knock him out, that'd be actually be pretty sweet. You're not like stuck. It'd be like guaranteed because like even now, like I don't know, offense the matches aren't that hard. It's like you just like smoke through them. Like unless you're severely like your Akbar's their Akbar is so much faster than your MF. That's the only thing you really got to worry about.
Or if they've got all Gear 12 Phoenix for their ships.
I have a guy on my so my ship shard is only like 7 or 8 months old. It's something at this point, okay? And the guy who joined has been playing the game for 1 year, and the guy has a near 5 mil GP now, has every single pilot fully maxed, and has Zetas on all of the Phoenix and like Rebel people. It's a fully maxed Rebel team. There's nothing left he can do. Gear 12 plus pieces and everything. And I have 0% chance of beating it, so I just take rank 2 every day. And it's like, hopefully this ship...
That's depressing.
Hopefully this ship helps.
The unfortunate shard right there.
He's going to have a 7-star one, Ebon Hawk, so good luck me.
He'll be ready to go. Well, hey, he'll be a good testing. We could see just like how, like, do you get beat worse? Do you get beat any faster? Like,
True.
So, I don't. Okay, so Ebon Hawk. Okay, so what else? What else exciting is going on? I think. Okay, also we got a lot of stuff this month. Okay, because
we do actually.
We're thinking
Darth Revan in like what 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay, so we got that, and we should get Rancor Simming this month. We should get roster.
This month?
It should be. I mean, it's the end of the what is it? Well, yeah, end of the quarter, and then the road ahead is for 3 months, and so it should be Rancor Simming this month, and it should be the roster stuff.
Well, we already know Rancor Simming is already in the game, just not implemented because there was a data mine showing that there was text about the Rancor Simming that went through. So I saw it on Reddit somewhere. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but basically there was some data mined thing that showed raid simming got loaded in because it's a 280 megabyte update. That's pretty big as far as Star Wars goes. I think they loaded the Revan event in already or something, but we'll see.
There you go. Well, I really hope that the Revan event and Ebon Hawk are not only 250 megabytes. This is the smallest game of all time. If that's all it takes, you're gonna get.
Dude, they are also. Like, not only are they good at making the game, they're impressive at condensing the game. I don't know how they can fit as much as it's already in there.
Yeah. I've never looked at the size of the game. Like, how big is, when you have it? Like,
I think it's 1 gig.
I can answer
maybe
that
1.5.
I got my iPad right here.
Yeah.
iPad's going to be more. iPad's going to be 2 or 3 times as much.
Oh, really?
Files. Yeah, just because the graphics, it has more.
I suppose that makes sense. It's loading. I'll let you know with it. Taking a really long time to load.
Because we were talking about Marvel Strike Force, compare this to Marvel Strike Force. Strike Force takes so much battery and power from your phone, and is like 3 gigs, 4 gigs, or something.
Yeah, like
Well, you
I
won't
would
believe
know
this. So the app size is 131.7 megabytes, and the documents and data is 421. So the combined total for the entire thing is 553 megabytes.
Yeah, it's shockingly low.
Yep.
I thought it would be at least a few gigs. Like, or a gig or-
553. Wow.
Nope.
Marvel,
They are
Marvel,
efficient.
like, yeah, like it's that game was so frustrating to run. I would like try to run it on my
BlueStacks. Yeah.
Yeah, I use Nox and like it was, it's like painful. I mean, I've tried both, and I just had Nox already, and I just stuck with that.
Too,
but like, yeah, and then it was like I don't know, it was just weird. There would be so much like tearing, and then I would try to play Blitz, and I would get like freezing and stuttering, and you know, my phone. I would try to play it on my phone, and my battery would die like twice as fast on that game compared to Star Wars.
Yep. Yep. That game. So one of the things that's frustrating about Strike Force, and would really help actually make it playable, is if they didn't have such huge load times. And I know a lot of people listening don't care about Strike Force, but the load times, trying to just get into a battle takes a minute.
I remember that from playing. Actually.
Oh yeah, like Arena. Also, yeah. Also, like it's not fun. Like, I don't know. I could sit here and complain about Marvel Strike Force all day. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tap out now. Like the one, you know, I've done enough complaining about that game, and so it's, you know, I'm just.
Agreed.
I'm sorry for your loss. Hopefully, you can, you know, hopefully they just make the game really good, and you know, you got a dope account, and you know, you just get to enjoy it.
They
But,
won't.
you know,
Yeah, I'll tap out. I'll tap out too. Have you heard of Red Stars?
Yeah, that's straight cancer. It was. I mean, I look at that when I'm like I look at the Revan event, and then I look at that entire game, and it's just like, yeah, like this game, that Revan event is probably the worst thing that they've ever done. But it's like, then I look at that game, and then it was like, yeah, I used to do the Blitz, and I used to have like all the teams set up, and I would have to, you know, like really cycle it every like it was 6 hours, and they made it 2 hours. And
I know.
Then they pulled the rewards, and so they like half the rewards, and then it was just like I've never seen a game actively. Imagine like we're like, oh, okay, so the heroic Sith, that was too many rewards, so now you don't get you guaranteed full piece or like a good full piece all the time. You never get I mean, it was like they just kept stripping it, like every possible thing, and so all right, yeah, and I think we're on this. Yeah, it's just, you know,
and then with the quality of life that Star Wars does. That's one of the best practices they do, is once or twice a year trying to assess how can we make the game more enjoyable, how can we take away some of the frustration.
Mod management, they're doing squad management now, yeah. All
the different stuff.
My only complaint, so I have one complaint with that though, is a lot of the times they take their quality of life update and make it a way to charge more revenue. Like I feel mods 2.0 is just moving the goalposts. You have good mods, now you have to make them better. Like it didn't change anything. Everyone just went up. It made your raids a little bit easier. But
my only you know, devil's advocate to that is like my mods like exploded in how dope they are ever since the mod.
That's
stuff.
true.
I mean, it's like I got some fat mods now ever since that happened. And so, you know, it was like before I was struggling.
If they can wisely do what they did with mods, in that you can take the ones you have but beef them up to open up new customization, make it more RPG-like, I'm fine with them making money off of that, as long as they keep making it fun and worthwhile to invest in.
Here's what I want.
16% health from a Gear 6 or a Tier 6 dot mod. That's great. Really Those are actually worthwhile boosts that you would want to boost that mod up.
Yeah, it's like I like that they're doing that, and then also I really like that they made 6-star mod such a prevalent reward in Grand Arena, and so it's like I'm actually, like, you know, hitting them, you know, and then they added them to the shard shop, and like they seem fairly accessible to where the point where you can actually like build them, and then also mods are your real roster, and then characters like come and go, so it's like it makes sense that you really now care a lot more about mods because you have to put more into them, you know, so. I do like that what they did with mods, and also like, and I feel like I would be very jaded towards mods if I never played Marvel Strike Force. I think that gave me a really good insight into like how bad the game. Like if there's anything I could take away from Marvel Strike Force, it's I realized I was like there's no mod. I wish there was no mods, and then I saw that experiment, and then actively was like, I really hate this. This is garbage. It's like, you know, they talk about stale meta, and it was like, you know. Even worse.
Customization per person is something that a person has to have in order to feel important, just as a player. Yeah. And for me, what I want out of this Gear 13, there's this last spot, right? I don't want a whole nother gear level. I want like a capstone. So what I want is this 6th piece is a slot that there's not a requirement. It's not like this person takes a thermal detonator Mark 13 or whatever. It's just you take a piece of your choosing of Gear 12 and you can put it on that character. You can't take it out. It's like a gem almost from WoW's armor, right? Where you can pick any Gear 12 piece and put it in that last slot. But once it's in there, it's locked. And you can put any one you want on any character. And so I think that would be interesting to give you the choice in that last slot.
I think that's a dangerous game.
That's a really cool idea, but dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're gonna get a whole bunch of paper zombies, scenarios. It's like, what if X happens and then now they're stuck?
Or at least give us a few choices in the last slot. Come up with like three. Well, you just gotta make
crystals or something like that. Like if you make it to where it's like you could crush the gem where you pay like 50 crystals and you can change it or something like that. As long as you don't like lock people out, then
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Make it like painful to like. Also, you're crushing your previous Gear 12. Well, all you got to do is like, you're just losing your previous Gear 12 plus piece you put in there. That's punishment enough.
Yeah, it's true. You do that, you're good. But
don't do that. Don't.
Yeah, that'd be because if it's like this revolving door of Gear 12 pieces, then it would be just another movement of mods. It'd be like, here I'm doing this, so I got to move my mods and I got to move my Gear 12 pieces around. I mean, it would just be another. It lose its uniqueness, because like the cool thing about this game, like I was kind of thinking about like how hard things are to get, shows that's what shows your personality, because you had to like spend 3-4 months or a ton of money to ever like have those characters. So it's like, he chose these guys, or he chose this. So it's kind of like you see these interesting things, and so I think that would be another addition to like showing how like your unique choices to other people in like Grand Arena and your guild, I guess. Like it's probably the one of the coolest parts of the game is showing like what you chose to invest in, like what decisions you.
Yeah.
So we're at an hour and a half now. You guys want to call it? We're getting.
Yeah, I think we should. I got to be up early.
Yeah, it's a little. We're running a little late, so. Want to thank you again for being on the show, George.
Well,
this was awesome.
It was fun.
We were having fun. It was a good time. I mean, it didn't feel like it after me. Yeah, it was a good time. Like these. So, glad, really happy you can join us for some Star Wars talk. This is dope. Hopefully, we'll do it again. And
anytime, just let me know.
Sounds good, man. You have a good night, all right? And everyone.
Yeah, y'all too.
Have a good one.
All right.
Thank you again. Peace out.